No, I think that's really important too. Like just from the people that I've talked to, the people that I think it's tough whenever because you get the mixed messages on social media and everywhere else where it's like you have to be spending all this time doing this, that, and the other thing. But like your mental health is so important, and if you're spending all day every day working on one thing, it's tough to stay as motivated. And I think you need to be exposing yourself to different outlets too, just to
100%. And that's what I've learned is that I was so wrapped up in this social media construct and all like these different people who say you need to be working every second of the day or else you're gonna fall behind, and that's just not true. um as long as you're happy and you're doing what you love and you're putting in some sort of work, things will come to you. And I think it's very important to take your mental health seriously and kind of take a step back when you need to. So that's what I can say on that.
yeah. I think obviously social media has kind of turned more and more into this thing where like they send you achievements when you post every day, and they say you got to post this many times every day. And I think part of the way that you come up with ideas for that stuff is spending time away from it. I think that's what I mean, especially like original ideas for stuff. Like you're not gonna come up with interesting or funny ideas like scrolling through social media. You have to be out in public and hanging out with people and doing stuff.
Totally agree. Totally agree. The time that you take away from social media is the time that you will get the most ideas, and that's your time to think. And it's not always good to, although, social media is about taking inspiration from other people, if you kind of take that step back and kind of think by yourself, you can come up with a lot of different ideas that haven't been thought of.
Yeah. What is do you have like a process for your social media content, or is it kind of just whatever you're feeling in the moment? Because that's kind of what I do. It's kind of whatever is in the moment. I don't know if it's suggested or not.
Yeah. I feel like it might be the same for most people. For me, like for 2 years of my life, for like 2 years before this, I stuck to a strict social media schedule, posting twice a day, TikTok, once a day on Instagram, whatever. But I think now I kind of just post what I want when I want, because you can't get so caught up in the formulas, I guess, of like viral social media, because if you do that, it's not gonna, you know, be long lasting. So I think just posting what you want and what you like and being confident about it, that'll always prevail over the quick 15 seconds of fame.
And I think it's like, you see that with music too, where it's like, when the Yeats of the world come around and stuff, and everyone wants, or not to say that Juice World was like this, but all the people that like made music like Juice World after, Juice World had his time.
Hmm.
Um, I think it's so important to like make your own thing because that's what you have to stand on at the end of the day is, you as a person. It will be easy to keep replicating as you continue to make stuff, but trying to,
Yep. It's unfortunate when, even sometimes I catch myself doing this where the inspiration goes a little too far, which is inspiration is great. Don't get me wrong. Um, but sometimes it could result in you just doing something that's already been done. And I see myself being an icon, and to be an icon, I have to be my own person.
yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that's the biggest part. You got to figure out something that like sets you apart and makes you you, and then run with it, kind of. Which I think is kind of like it doesn't. You don't also have to like have it right now. I think it's something that kind of evolves and grows with you as you grow. But
Yeah, I was literally just gonna say that it's something that comes over time, because I would always say to myself like, okay, what's what makes me different from every other artist? What makes me different from so and so or so and so? But it's like that's what happens over time. It's a whole evolution process, and none of these artists that came before any of like any of me or any other artists, like they didn't have it figured out right off the bat, and it takes time, and you just have to enjoy that journey until you get there.
Yeah, I mean, Michael Jackson wasn't moonwalking when he started. That didn't develop
Yeah,
till, further on. That's like
yeah,
one of his most famous,
yeah,
things.
yeah.
Yeah. What's a way that you have found that you use to like grow yourself as a person through life, I guess, as you've been on this music journey?
Hmm. I think a way that that can you repeat the question? Sorry.
Uh, so what's a way that you've kind of grown yourself on this journey? Like not doesn't have to necessarily be with music, but you yourself, you feel like something you've done that has helped you grow as a person.
I think just being content and okay with whatever happens has made me a lot happier in life because as much as we try and control things in our life, we're not in control of anything. So whatever happens, I've just learned to be okay with it. And sometimes that's not a bad thing, you know? Like and also just not caring what people think because I've always as a kid was always so caught up in what other people thought about me, but kind of not over time just stopping like over time like not caring little by little, I guess, has made me feel more free in a way.
Yeah, I think kind of like understanding your why. Like I think that's why I love, the "Why Do I" song that you just put out not that long ago. I think it's like we do all these actions throughout the day without even thinking about why we do them. It doesn't have to be about drinking or smoking or any of that stuff, but just like taking a step back and realizing like what's your why behind what you do for everything and just evaluating that.
Yeah, yeah, because sometimes you just got to ask yourself what are you doing it for? Are you doing things for the right reasons? And I think that's really important.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. What are some things you got coming out on the way for the rest of the year? I know you just like shared some snippets on Instagram earlier. I voted for
Yeah.
number one, but I also like number two.
Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Um, so for the rest of the year, I'm going to be putting out more music videos, more content, and not slowing down at all because I don't see myself slowing down one bit. I'm going to keep this train rolling, and I have a lot of dope collaborations with a lot of big artists that I can't wait to share, and a lot of shows in the future coming up. So it's going to be an exciting year. It's going to be a transition year, um, shifting from from where I'm at right now to where I'm going to be. It's going to be a really exciting and big year for me.
You mentioned shows. Like, do you feel like you prefer? Like, I know a lot of artists go back and forth. Like, do they like the performing? Do they like the making the music? What kind
Mhm.
of side do you feel like you fall on more?
Where I get the most joy out of music is performing it and being in the moment with the crowd and kind of representing myself and my music up there on stage. Like this is who I am. And it's awesome. Like when I perform, I have a full live band behind me and they're all friends of mine. And it's just such a great vibe and makes me feel like there's nothing else that I ever want to do. Like that's my utopia in life is just being on that stage with the crowd singing along with me.
Yeah, that's. I mean, especially doing it with your friends. I think that makes it so much better. Like any success in life, if you can bring your friends into it, that's.
Yeah, 100%. Like my drummer is one of my best friends, and my guitarist is my cousin, and it's just a great vibe just performing the music that I create on stage with the people that I love, and you know, seeing other people's reactions to it and seeing other people sing along and have a good time. And that's all I could ask for. As long as I'm making a positive impact in at least one person's life, then, then that's how I made it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that's. I was listening to something the other day, and it was kind of about how like giving back to the world is really like the world sets it up that you should be like this selfish person that cares about themselves, but then you see everything out in the world, like the sun. All the sun does all day is give back and like make light and help trees grow and the grass grow and a million things it helps with. But then as humans, we kind of feel like we should look out for ourselves. But then when we're like the happiest is when we actually help other people and make other people feel better.
Yep. And because like when it's all said and done, and you know not to get deep or dark or anything, but like when you're towards like the end of your life, it's like what really matters. It's not the money, it's not fame, it's not being popular, it's not any of that BS that people get caught up in. It's really about doing what you love and making other people feel good.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're right. I think that's exactly it. I think I always find myself being very grateful. Like a lot of people are like, oh, I wish I was born like, 20 or 30 years ago before social media. But I feel like in a way we're really blessed to see there's a lot of like people who have really made all this money and aren't afraid to share that, when you get here, if you're not grounded in who you are, like it doesn't really matter that you got here.
100%, 100%. And a lot of people get caught up in that cycle, and get thrown around like you know a lot of different artists or celebrities who just fall into deep holes where they don't really know their purpose of why they're doing the things they do, and it's just like they just care about like the money and the fame and stuff like that. So I think just being level headed and grounded is always gonna, and always like always being true to who you are and who you are at your core will always make you feel uh, the best. And as much as money and fame, you think that might do that for you, it won't.
Yeah. Are there any things throughout your day that you kind of do to, or not necessarily day, but week or months that you do to kind of like remind yourself of that, or is it just kind of?
So I think for me, just being around my close friends and family is what keeps me very grounded to who I am. I'm blessed to have such a great family and such great friends around me who have great who are great people at their core. And I think that's really important to keep good people around you, because that's always what's going to keep you grounded, and always what's going to make you remember who you really are.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with everyone before we wrap this up?
I think if you're an artist or a young creative watching this, I just want to say go for whatever you want to do. And as cliche as it sounds, and as many times as other people say that, it really is true. Like, who cares what other people think or what other people might say? As long as you're doing something that makes you happy and feel fulfilled, that's all that should matter. Um, and live your life for yourself. Don't live your life for any other person. So that's all I gotta say.
Yeah, no, I think that's super important. I think it's so easy to get caught up in life and think about, oh, who's gonna see this? What are people gonna think of this? Who's gonna think this is about them? Or especially when you're making music, I'm sure you think about that
Yeah,
all the time when you put out a song. Because
yeah,
I love sad boy music. I remember anytime I'd like get over like a breakup or something, and I like share, I'm like, they're gonna think I'm like sad about them now, and I'm like, I'm not. I don't care. But I was like, you know what? This just isn't even being true to myself. I just need to share the music I want to share.
Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, I mean, it does get hard for some people, caring what other people think, and it was very hard for me. It's just you got to always remember that you're living your life for yourself and not for anybody else, and I think that's the most important piece of advice that I've ever heard.
Yeah, that's huge because at the end of the day, you're the one that's got to look back on your actions, and you know
Yep,
people forget stuff so
you're the
fast.
one that lives with it. It's your thoughts, it's your world, it's your life.
Yeah, everyone else is just an NPC. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, basically.
Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your afternoon. I appreciate getting to sit down with you.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. It means a lot.
Yeah, looking forward to some more new music, and yeah, thanks
Thank
again.
you, man.
Thanks.
Awesome.
Bye.
Later.
Later.